I'm pretty sure I hated carnivals as a kid. And not just because I'm a rambling, fun-sucking mess of a monologue. They're just far too loud, too messy, too smelly, and you have this imminent sense the entire time that the whole white trash picture show is so incredibly temporary, that it's only days away from packing itself into worn-down trailers and skipping itself on up the interstate to the next vacant lot where the owner doesn't want anything to grow for the next 10 years. But while I seethe with derision for that most holy of things to the denizens of the funnel cake empire, I must admit that the idea of going to an established theme park fills me with a rousing sense of serotonic joy. Praise be the mouse and the man who writes his D's like a backwards G. And there's definitely a lot I could go into about that distinct and divergent love and hatred for such similar things. But to the extent that my videos are ever about anything, this video isn't about that. Instead, I've got a good one for you. Is life a roller coaster, or is it bumper cars? That's the real question we're trying to answer here, and I figured that would be a little too abrupt for the average viewer coming from Call Me Kevin or ContraPoints to this utter disaster of narrative pacing, so I just added the first bit to make my descent into illiterate madness seem more palatable. Listen, it's a good question. Just think about the kind of fun you have in each experience. On a roller coaster, you sit strapped in tight with many other people crammed into a vehicle you have absolutely no personal control over. In fact, there's literally no driver at all. And you proceed to scream your lungs out in the course of an experience which, if you were to describe it in technical terms to someone who'd never seen this before, would appear absolutely horrifying. Whereas in bumper cars, you cram your bloated adult form into what can best be described as a cockpit designed by T.H.C. Dali, then proceed to do vehicular battle with an 8-year-old whose eyes are so narrowed, so focused, so full of bloodlust, that you'd swear he was the spawn of Satan. Of course, the majority of people find these activities fun, because of course they do. No matter how unappealing they might sound when described through the brain of a mentally liberated idiot, we tend to love these things as human beings. And honestly, the answer to our primary question, which one is life more like, is gonna depend on the individual. So, I'll answer for myself. The thing about the roller coaster is that you have absolutely no control. Straight up, from the moment you've sat down, strapped in, and you hear that little whoosh, you are in it. Whatever happens is going to happen. And honestly, for me, the chance not to be in control, even though my anxiety is telling me I need to be, is far too good to pass up. Every rise, fall, loop, and turn is an exercise in trust. Trust in your fellow human beings. And I just felt everyone's collective anxiety rise from that statement. But it's true. I would put forward that there exists no better voluntary example of a palpable exercise of trust in your fellow human beings than in riding a roller coaster. And so much of life is the exact same way. You don't control the other cars on the road. You don't control your workplace. You don't control the people that you love. No matter how much you want to, or how much you've deluded yourself into believing this is true, you do not have control. And you put far more trust than you can ever imagine into your fellow humans' hands every day. And you know what? That's okay. Because the thing about bumper cars is that you are given the illusion of control from the outset. You've got a wheel, a pedal, a vehicle you can drive, an open road with no lines, no rules, and no cops. But the moment you get bumped by a satanic 8-year-old, you realize just how futile the entire thing is. When you add other people to the mix, it always turns to chaos. But here's where you have a choice. Because you can absolutely choose to get annoyed while playing. I mean, just look at some of the people's faces next time. It is true entertainment. But you can also choose to let go. To understand that the real fun isn't in controlling the car, but in the fact that everyone is embracing the chaos together. The fun of bumper cars is in not making decisions, not having control, just flooring it and spinning the wheel wildly. And that's a pretty big difference from the roller coaster. The coaster is an exercise in enduring lack of control. The cars is about consistently choosing it. So, truthfully, for me, I don't think I can choose. Honestly, life feels like both. We endure a lack of control every day, every unnecessary meeting, stupid email, overcomplicated system, unrequited love. But I'd say the harder part, at least for me, is in actively choosing to give up even my own illusion of control and embrace life as the magniloquent mixture of myopic madness that it truly is. No sooner does real life begin than in realizing you never had any control over it in the first place.